Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's April 24th, 2023, and I'm out in the Western Garden plot. Haven't made any videos in a few days. Been a little bit laid up, overdid it, bending over and working with those IBC totes and getting some chestnut trees set in there, some sapling chestnut trees. So, and I've been real busy with the whole book reselling and media reselling business, listing and cleaning and doing the things associated with that. But, and I will make a video about that in the future as well. But I thought what I'd do is just, even though I haven't really spent any time working in the gardens, other than what we'll see the area where we removed the rain gutter gardens, I thought what I'd do is give you a quick update on how the plants are doing out here in the, in the perennial garden here over in the Western Garden plot. So the first thing I'd say is our blueberry plants, we saw that the ones were leafing out, trying to adjust the camera here, leafing out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of blueberry plants here. These 2 rows are the ones that were in the first food forest that we transplanted over into this area in the fall. So I'll try to remember to post the videos about that. But we amended the soil, added peat moss to it, acidified it somewhat. And our ground is fairly acidic here, but with all the compost, it isn't acidic. So we still have to do some fertilizing. I'm not a big fertilizer, but we will be fertilizing the blueberry plants hopefully in the next couple weeks, get our drip tapes straightened up and all. And so we can see some of the buds are just starting to open. And all of these buggers should get pruned back a little bit more. This one was a little iffy, but looks like it's going to make it. So these are looking okay for being transplanted and all. Yes, there's Timmy helping out here as usual. And these are the ones we've had here since they were small little cuttings, these plants here. And the other thing that's happening now is our honeyberries or haskaps. Their buds are emerging. Some of the cultivars, like this one here, these are already gone to flower. And these really should be pruned back a bit more. But these are the ones we propagated initially from 4 plants, and we lost 1 and then 3. And so we've got a fair number here around the perimeter. This is one of the things we did last fall, is we modified our perimeter set around here. And so this whole area, one, we have to decide. So with these, I've talked about propagating them by just basically burying some of the limbs that are coming out that are close to the ground, stapling them down to the ground and getting them to set down roots, and then they can be separated from the mother plant and be sold as a separate plant. It's worked extremely well. These are mounding techniques or other techniques that I've talked about in the past. So one of the things we do want to do is decide where we want to, which plants that we want to do that propagation with, and which plants we just want to put the weed mats right up against them that will deter weed growth and all, because weed growth really is a big hassle. So the whole path areas here we want to get covered with weed mats. Although we have lots of chamomile showing up here and some purslane, both of which are good beneficial plants. But there's lots of weed seeds here, especially over the winter months. And here you can see right on top of the weed mats, as I dug down with the snowblower, that material got in here. So getting the drip tapes down, yes, there's Timmy. Getting the drip tapes down is kind of important, so we don't have to work maintaining these plants, and also getting these the weed mats around them. Last fall we also transplanted a lot of our thornless blackberry plants. So these are the Triple Crown and Chesters in here. I can't tell which ones, all our labels blew off. And There isn't too much activity. It's still a bit early for them, but you can see some of them are starting to send up some new growth at the base. Yes, Timmy, you're always so helpful. Always so helpful. And some of the ones in the nursery area are starting to show some growth. So we want to get some of the weed mats, get the drip tape down and get weed mats in here so it's easier for us to manage these beds. You can see there's some growth there as well. So they're just starting. So one of the projects I've got to do is go up into the main area where we had all of the thornless blackberry plants planted over the last several years. And last year I dug up a lot of them, and that's where these ones came in. One of the things I've got to do is get up there and get the rest of them out, and hopefully we'll advertise real soon that we'll be selling some of those thornless blackberry plants. The other beds that I've got to get dug up and sold as bare root are a bunch of the gooseberry plants that we've got up in the second food forest, or I'm sorry, the third food forest. So that's something I got to do. So now we're heading over to the central garden plot, which is all cover crop. And since I did not terminate it at the end of the winter, and we had a mild winter, you could see a lot of the rye, and there is weed in here. The daikon radishes, the ones that the deer didn't get, they're still coming back. And there's still vetch down in there. I don't know how much you can see. So we have to decide what plants we're going to go ahead and propagate in here. So this will be more of the perennial plants that we're going to be putting in this area. And putting the drip tape is still down, so it's still down in there. There's the drip tape there. You can see the vetch, the either wheat or rye there. Daikon radishes all over in here. So I'm sort of in a dilemma, not knowing what I'm going to put in here or how quickly I'll get things in here. If I just want this cover crop to just take off this season and then terminate it just before planting it, getting the plants in there. Yes, Timmy. You're such a pain in my butt. He's so good at opening the doors in the buildings. He just goes in and out of the buildings as he wants, which is a real hassle. Thea was able to straighten up some of the white oaks and the swamp white oaks because they're a little bit tilted. I've got to get out today and get these mulched as well. So looks pretty good. These are the oak trees that we put in here the other day, or last week now. And so got to mulch those and get those over to in the area here where the rain gutter garden was. So the rain gutter garden was right along in here. I made a video about removing that. And I'm going to put down some weed mat fabric down in here to try and reduce the amount of weeds that we're going to deal with, because even though everything will be growing inside of planters, those big IBC totes, weeds will come up around the base of them, and that's a real hassle as well. And lawn mowing is going to have to be done. You can see some of the sage is starting to come back over here. Some of the lavender, leaves are starting to liven up. A little bit of the thyme over here, those are starting to show themselves. And in the handicap beds here, these are the thornless blackberry plants I put in there. Some honeyberries over there, which I don't have much faith that the honeyberries will make it. Here are the Canada geese. I've got to get some of these strawberry plants moved around over here because I have big bare spots and lots of weeds, and then I have a cluster of strawberry plants here which I want to get distributed. I just have to get the motivation to get that done. The clover that we did our walking pathways, that's looking pretty good. We may reseed more of these areas. This is the sweet potato bed that we had last year with the winter rise on it. And we'll come over and see how the garlic is doing. So here's the garlic. Doing pretty well. I'll probably come out and add a little more mulch on the surface here. Don't want a lot with the garlic, but the mulch will probably help significantly with suppressing weeds. So they're looking good. These beds we've saved for potentially being able to dig up the raspberry plants, and I still haven't gotten that. And again, our living paths that we put in here, it's looking a bit better this year so far. Lots of clover. There are some of the grasses I see in here. But, you know, it doesn't look as bad. We've got some weeds up there. And here are the shallots in here, and they're starting to emerge. Two rows of shallots here. And I'm just starting. And these are just a single clove of the shallots, and they'll produce a tremendous number of shallot bulbs, which will be just absolutely fantastic. In this area we mulched as well, but since right over here I use a snowblower, and the snowblower throws all that dirt and weed seed, grass, right on top of this, that's why mulching again on the surface of this would be helpful. So that's about it with today's little walk through the gardens. I thought I'd share with you where we're at. I haven't got as much done as I'd like to get done. A lot more to do. I'm sure everyone else is getting pretty excited. It's in the low 30s right now. I think it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Lots of blooming going on. The June berries, service berries, the cherry trees are all in bloom. You know, everything's looking alive right now. So it's kind of cool and pretty interesting. And I'm really craving spending more time outside instead of in the office working on the book sales and that sort of thing. Just got to have the energy to do it. So I hope you folks are staying safe, taking good care of yourselves, thinking about what you're going to do this season with your gardens and what you're going to grow. And hopefully you've got a lot of the seeds started already. If you're up here in the northern climate, indoors and all. But I hope everybody's staying safe and taking good care of yourselves. So with that, I wish you a beautiful day. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.